Thank you so much. And I'm excited everyone that is here. And yes, I understand it did rain today, so that means half the people who are going to come aren't coming because they're afraid of the rain in Phoenix. But we're here, and that's what really matters.
I don't know how to ask you.
You know, what started, as a journey, some a little over 5 years ago, and for those of you who didn't know me a little over 5 years ago, I could never imagine myself being up here in front of everyone with a book that has done all the accomplishments that I have seen it create. And I remember as the founder of Network Together, I actually ran around all the chapters and I had a little piece of paper with my chicken scratch on it, and that's how I sold the book. And you know what? It was the love and the trust of all the people that they had in me from Network Together that I was able to bring the people into the book for that first one. And that first one was the 365 days of networking quotes. And little did I know it would turn into inspiration, transformation, gratitude, and abundance. So I am just really excited with that. And so today we are at our okay, let's see here. Let's click again. We are not changing slides, but we are at our event, and you're all welcome. And so what I'd like to do is I want to bring up Eduardo, and there he is right over here. This is Eduardo Borges. Everyone give him a round of applause.
Woo!
Eduardo, he is employed by the Better Business Bureau. And the moment I met him, I knew I was going to like him because he has an amazing smile. Smile for all of them. Look at that smile. And so what I wanted to do is give him thanks so everyone can identify with him, who he is, his role at the Better Business Bureau, and just show my appreciation that you have allowed this to utilize this co-working space here at the Better Business Bureau Ignite co-working space. Yes. So get your hand back. Eduardo Borges.
Thank you so much. Well, welcome. This is, as he mentioned, it is part of the Better Business Bureau. And I'm very blessed to be part of this organization for the last year. I'm a former corporate executive turned professor for GCU, retired, and now I decided to get involved in nonprofit. And what a better place to be here to be able to use these resources for this type of event. You inspire me already because I am a future author. I have 2 books that I'm writing. And we finished our PhD in the same university, we just learned that. But no, less about me, more about the space. This used to be co-working, this all used to be co-working space. And through research and trying to understand what is the need in the community, we realized that event venue was such a much needed space, but not only the space, but also at an affordable price. You can get the space for $100 an hour, minimum 2 hours. Yes, exactly, right? And the idea is that we were going to continue to bring in all type of events. Entrepreneurships, education, working with other organizations like the Phoenix Business Journal, Arizona Impact for Good, with Robert, and I think this is just a place where we just come together. And so if you want to learn more about that, I will have business cards somewhere, or just come see me. And please reach out. Also, if you have an event that it's aligned with our mission and our vision, we always are open to sponsoring and being your venue sponsor. So I know that sometimes, that's a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. So please see us as a resource. Please see me, and I encourage you to continue your efforts, continue to use your thoughts and your words to make a difference in people's lives. I have no doubt that every single day in the next 365 days, people are going to be encouraged. So thank you for listening to your heart and putting it in print so that we can all benefit. Thank you so much.
Nice.
So one of the things about doing events like this live is make sure your equipment is working before you actually start the event. So, live and learn, right? I was a former programmer, so give me that one, okay? I would like to really quickly. I'm going to have them come back a little bit later, but I want Becky Norwood, and I want Natalie McQueen to stand up. You know, give them a round of applause.
Woo!
So it's Becky Norwood and it's Natalie McQueen, and they are the two that have helped me be in the position of having this book and helping it go to the places that it's going. And, you know, I'm so excited because, again, it went from just a little book that I'm just like carrying around of chicken scratch paper to the last book, Tony Robbins International, about 5 pages in this book, and including one of his coaches, Jay Abraham. But again, I want to say so much thank you to Becky and Natalie, the best publishers ever. Please give them applause. They're so cool. I also want to thank someone that who also has a PhD, and she is a doctor, and she's sitting right over there, and that's my mom, Dr. Ginny Krieger. It's okay to stand, Mom. You can stand. You know, and she was out in the West Valley today, and we got to learn a little bit about who she is and what she did to stand up for women's rights and for rights of people who have brown skin and for those who English was not their first language. And my mom, in spite of everything, earned her PhD at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. And she also sat on one of the boards with Dr. Tom Osborne. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, she is my hero.
Go Big Red. Go Big Red.
Okay, Mom, come up here. Let's take a picture together.
That's why she has the hair. Go Big Red.
So right now she's Go Big Green. Come on. Come on over here. So.
This is in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Today. I mean, I know it's not St. Patrick's Day, but it's close enough.
Dynamic duo.
Oh.
I love it.
She's the best. Oh. Thank you so much.
The creator of
She
the
made
creator.
the best lasagna when I was a kid. Alana for enchiladas, those are pretty good too, I have to say. Susie Finley, I'd like you to come up here. Do you have your tuning forks?
Yes, I do.
And what I wanted to do is really get this event going by having a grounding for us all and having setting a psychologically safe space for each and every one of us. So I'd love for Susie Finley to come up here. And do you need the microphone to explain?
I'm going to run around and tune everybody, but
Okay.
I love it.
I get it.
Tune us up.
You want me to hold the tuning fork?
First of all, it's so cool to meet all these best-selling authors.
Take the microphone.
It's so cool to meet all these best-selling authors. I'm really honored to be here. And I want to start because I want to tune you from the inside out. So I'd love everybody to hum along. So we're going to start by taking a big deep breath in. And on the exhale, you're going to hum. And then with each breath, the exhale is going to be a hum. And I'm going to run around the tuning forks and we'll carry. And I'm going to tune you all. So just keep humming along. Enjoy. And close your eyes.
I don't know about you, but there's not a lot of book signing events that start like this, is there? I can actually feel that. It's amazing. All right. everyone give Susie a great round of applause.
All the way from New York.
You know, all the way from New York.
Live from New York City.
You know, and one of the great things about this, and I say this, you know, and I really learned this. I remember last year, Angel Murray, she had a book signing, and she had me come up, and she put me on the spot in front of everyone. And she goes, Robert, you know, what have you learned about this book series? What have you learned about yourself? And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, what a question. And I stood there, and then I looked out to everyone, and I saw all the faces. I said, what I've learned is it's not about the book. It's about the people in the book and the stories they share. And I'll never forget that day. It always resonates right here in my heart. Because what I found is I'm 60 years old now. In this book, I've made more friends, great relationships in the last 5 years than I have in the last 35 years. Or people who I can call, people who I can trust, you know, people that I just want to do things with. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just like, you know, it's easy to make enemies, but it also can be easy to make friends if you look in the right places. And what I see in this room is a hell of a lot of friends. In what? Yeah, say it. Yeah, come on. All right. And you know, in one of those friends who's also been in every book of the Art of Connection book series is Kenyatta Turner. And I would love for you to give a round of applause for Kenyatta Turner. And I want her to come up here and say hello.
KT in the house.
So Kenyatta Turner was one of those crazy authors. I was running around trying to sell this first book, and the first book is right over here. It's this one here, The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Networking Quotes. And there's the microphone in the background. And again, little did I know that it would ever turn into what it turned into. But I have to say, you know, I'm going to give a little bit of story after Kenyatta talks about how we got to the second book. And so what I'd like to do is, Kenyatta has 5 minutes about, you know, the book, the community, the impact it's made for her, and, you know, also maybe something great or incredible that's going on in your life right now.
Absolutely, I would do that. Thank you. Oh,
Welcome.
thanks. I forgot I should probably use this a little bit. Robert.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So how's everybody doing? Good. How's everybody else doing?
Yes.
All right. I don't want to leave anybody out. So Robert says I'm part of this cool club of 6 people, you said?
6 people.
That have been in all of the books. Yes. But I don't know who those 6 people are, but I just learned of 2 of them right now. Oh, wait, I see the hand. Okay.
Yep.
So
And
now
they're here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All 6 of us are here?
Yes.
Oh, well, look at that. Okay. Give a round of applause for everybody else who's in. 6. That is 6. Yes, I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. And so this has been pretty phenomenal. And I guess what I'm also curious of is how many people have been in the other ones that are in the room right now. So I'm going to kind of go through them real quick. So raise your hand for me if you've been in the book that I'm about to call out, because I'm just curious to see. Show of hands. Have you been, or are you in the networking quotes book?
Which one is that? We don't,
The one.
1, 2,
that
3,
first
4,
one.
5, 6.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Okay, number 1 is that one right there.
Right.
Okay, so what, 4 or 5 people, I think?
6.
6 have been in that one that were in the room? Okay,
Yes.
Thanks for counting. You're quick with that. Number 2 is inspirational, right?
Yes.
Number 2, who's been in that one? Okay,
That's this one.
that's that one right there.
Always look for
All right, so how many is that? Were you counting?
Yeah, that was 6, and then well, the same 6 obviously plus 4 more, but it's about 10.
Okay, transformational quotes, number 3.
The same 6 plus
Is it the same? No one knew. Okay, this is interesting.
Preston,
to me.
Buddy, Sherlyn,
Okay, all right.
Preston. He said he just chimed in.
Gratitude. Okay, all right, okay, so the gratitude point, that's where the tipping point, that's the tipping point, right? For this room. And then abundance. I would assume that would be everyone. Okay. All right, I was interested
Wait,
about...
and who's going to be in resilience?
I was curious about that. So interesting. Oh, Eduardo, yes. Eduardo. So this is interesting to me. I was thinking about the fact that I was in all 6 of these books. So I'm like, what did you write about? And it was a lot. So I'm gonna tell you real quick, and I have something for you. I have a little secret I'm gonna reveal to you in a moment. So take notes if you like to. Networking. Your self-fulfilling prophecy can either limit you or liberate you. Your self-fulfilling prophecy can either limit you or liberate you. Inspirational. Become behaviorally and unapologetically you. Okay? Transformational. It's not personal. It's just behavioral science.
Amen.
That's right. Gratitude. Actually, I'm going to come back to that one. I'm going to save that one. I'm going to go to abundance first. Abundance. Behavioral clarity creates a path to an abundant reality. So behavioral clarity creates a path to abundant reality. And then I'm going to go to the gratitude quote. And this is where my message really is for you today, and then I'll be out of here in a moment. I am very grateful for having been a part of all of the books. And then the journal, which is a bonus. Right. Thanks. Yeah. With the journal, which is phenomenal. But this is something that I hope that you can take with you as you go through right now. If you look at any of the books, the quotes that I read to you, they're all, except for I think gratitude, this one I think, on my birthday, which is April 5th, coming up. On April 5th, I will turn 50 years old.
Right for you.
Now, well, thank you. I know I don't look it, but that's where I'm at. And this quote is, I will not squander 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, or 1 year beyond the age of 39. That was a quote that I wrote for the gratitude book. Why is that important and why 39? Like, why that age? Well, because that is the year that my father was when he passed away. I was only 16 at that time, and I used to think that 39 was old. At 16, right?
Yeah.
He was an old dude. He was my dad.
Yeah.
I didn't think I lived to be 39, quite honestly. It's how I grew up during that time. I didn't think I'd make it because it seemed so completely far away. And then I woke up one day realizing I was about to turn 39. Whoa, that did not seem old at all. That was very young. And that was the year that I like to say I jumped off a cliff and sprouted wings. And I quit my corporate job and started a business. And here I am about to turn 50. Having lived longer than my dad got, right? Having gotten more, I call extra innings that he got. So this quote is from that concept of, I made a pact with myself in that moment when I quit my job. I said, I will not squander 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 year beyond the age of 39. I would do whatever it took to live my life how I wanted to. I would take the chances. I would jump off the cliffs. I would do all the things. I would not let anyone stand in my way because I was getting extra. And I wanted to honor him by doing everything I could to live my life to the fullest. So my message to you is that I don't know what age you are. Doesn't matter. But if there's something that you are waiting to do, and you're waiting for the right time and the right moment and all the things, stop. I see you shaking your head. You're like, stop. Yeah, don't wait. Don't wait. Because you don't know. You just don't know. So make the decision, draw the line in the sand, right? 39 was that age for me. So here I am. Do I have any regrets having quit my job and jumped off that cliff? No. Absolutely not. I get emotional thinking about all that I've accomplished in that time. That if I didn't make that choice, I'd probably be sitting there at that job in that building. Not to say it was bad, but that's not for me anymore. So thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to share and speak. And the last thing I'll mention is something coming up in this very room. If you're interested, let me know. You can send me a message on LinkedIn and say deep dive if you want. But I'm hosting an event right here, May 31st. In this event, BBB is sponsoring me with that. I'm so excited. But it's going to be a massive speaking event that I'm going to be doing called the Deep Dive. I'll be hosting with Jim Lutz. So if you're looking for something to do, May 31st, come join me. Don't wait. Don't mess around. Because you have the gratitude, right? Abundance is huge, but gratitude, man, I'm grateful for every day and all these moments that I get to spend with you, Robert, and this community. Thank you.
Miss Kenyatta Turner.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Kenyatta. I appreciate that. I have another story. And, so I don't know, maybe everyone knows this. It's probably the worst kept secret, but I was in the United States Marine Corps from 1983 to 1989. Actually 1990, when I looked at my service record, I was like, oh, I made it into January. Wow. So I served proudly for the United States Marine Corps. My first MOS, I joined 2 times. I was a frocker. A frocker. That's field radio communications. My next MOS, I was a communication center operator. They call that a seacocker. And I said, said, only in the Marine Corps can you go from a frocker to a sea cocker. So I'm just like, wow, And after that, I was like, I'm not gonna enlist for any more because who knows what I'm gonna be next. So I was like, I'm out of here. I ain't doing any of that. No more of that. But I'm proud to say that my 18-year-old son, he's following my footsteps. I think it's crazy. I told him, please go Air Force. Please go Air Force.
Yeah,
Please
no.
Air Force.
Go Air Force.
No, he's gonna be a Marine. Yes, all right. So first to serve.
Semper Fi.
And so I'm really proud of him, and he's grown up, and he's made me grow up a lot too. And he's just a loving, beautiful, beautiful grandson of my mom. But when we got done with that first book, The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Networking Quotes. Before then, I always said the hardest thing I ever did in my life was make it through Marine Corps boot camp. 12 weeks of true and utter bliss. No, hell. And so in all my life, I thought this is going to be the hardest thing that I ever do in my life. And then all of a sudden came 365 days of networking quotes. And then from that day forward, I said, this is the hardest thing I have ever done in my entire life, was to get 365 crazy cats into a book. I was like, holy crap, no, I'm never going to do this again. And so, and this is pre-COVID. And so, I had this crazy idea of also coming out with a magazine called Entrepreneur Network Magazine. And we had several years of issues, and then we closed it down. We're going to be bringing it back, which I'm really excited. But we closed it down because we had this crazy thing go on of COVID a little later. But right before then, I had the opportunity to do the second book, 365 Days of Inspirational Quotes. No, I didn't. I didn't want to do a book ever again. So in that magazine, there's this gentleman called Mark Victor Hansen. Does anyone know him? Yes. How do you know him? I know you know him. And so he was one of the columnists in the magazine. And so I remember getting on the phone with him, and we were talking, and he started saying, so he started talking, it's like, how's life, and what's going on, and he does like a little bit of chit chat, and then goes straight into it. He's like, so Robert, how's that little networking thing going on? I said, yeah, it's going on pretty good. and he says, and then he goes, so when's your next book coming out? And that's when I stopped. I stopped for just a second. I was like, Mark, I don't think there's going to be a next book. And then there was another pause. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice come across that phone. And he goes, what do you mean there's not going to be a next book? Let me tell you about Chicken Soup for the Soul. And all of a sudden he started going into the power of Chicken Soup for the Soul and the power of why I should do the book again. And so, yes, I was stupid enough to do a second book. But I was also smart enough to do a third book, a fourth book, a fifth book, and a coming sixth book. That's big. And in this book series, we have had over 1,500 different authors. We have helped over 600 entrepreneurs become first-time and international best-selling authors. According to Amazon, we have the #1 heart-centered entrepreneurial book series in the world.
Woo!
Clap for yourself.
Yeah.
But the most incredible thing about that book is it would have never happened without Mark Victor Hansen saying, do it. I could have thought about it. I could have said no. But he gave me the courage, the boldness, the bravery to do that next book. So then all of a sudden I get through the second book and it launches. Miss Natalie and I would do that second book together. And I go, oh shit. The hardest thing I ever did in my entire life was the first book, 365 Days of Networking Quotes. When we were done with the second book, 365 Days of Inspirational Books, that became the hardest thing I ever did. Marine Corps Boot Camp was number 3. So just a little story about the book. And so what I'd like to do is, I want to bring, just want to make sure I have everyone here. Kimberly Humphreys, is she here? She's not here?
No.
Denise, come on up here. We'll have you take Kimberly Humphreys' place. Tanya, go ahead and come up here. Tricia Livermore, Mark Balin, please all come up here. And everyone give them a round of applause. And so I have some seats right here for each and every one of you. Just go ahead and sit back here. And so what I wanted to do is, after the Off the Carousel, we'll go back to some book signing. But what I want to do is create space for not just the book, but
Move the stand back.
the stand back.
I want to see Mark.
Why?
Move it to the left.
I just kidding.
Move it to the left.
Was it not on wheels?
Okay, this way? Oh, all right. Are you sure? Okay.
That's good.
There we go.
Yeah, Mark and I tried to coordinate together.
Right.
So,
I got the
So-
memo.
So the reason why I want to do this is because in many book signings, a few people get to talk, and I was attempting to get as many people to talk about the book themselves in their own words. And with the Author Carousel, a couple of things I wanted. How has the book impacted their life? How has authorship impacted their life? What does this community mean to them? And I would like each and every one of them to say it in their own words. And what I'll do is, should I start off with Mark?
Oh, God.
Or should I end with Mark? But Buddy's over here saying 1 to 2 minutes. So we'll end with Mark. How does that sound? Is that yes? Give me yes. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to start with Tanya. So, all right.
This is the first time I've held a mic. A year and a half ago, I met Susie online, and she was so amazing. She spent time talking to me and said, "Here's my number, let's talk." And I needed that. So I'm here today because of Susie. She connected me with multiple people, some in the room, some online, and I feel so grateful to be here and have the opportunity to start this business. She connected me to you, Robert. Thank you. Thank you. And she guided me toward where I was supposed to be. I didn't know where I was going. Years ago, a psychic told me things that I didn't see. And the last year, after Susie connected me to your book, and I agreed to do the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, talk about doing something. Do the things that are the hardest to do.
Yep.
And then it'll get easier. So I'm just grateful to be here and meet Susie Kirby in the back. I will. Sorry to cry.
Yep.
Happy cry.
Happy cry.
Thank you.
Yeah. And already just Tanya, how that touched me. And that's what I've said for such a long time. I have so many people go, oh, it's only a page. And I've always been, no, it's not only a page. It's a piece of you that you're giving to others who you may have never met that will create a profound effect. That's what this is.
Well, I can't say that I've never had a microphone before because as people who know me, John McCain was a mentor of mine, and he said I stole his line. Never seen a microphone I didn't like. And this is one. So I'm in this because Mark wouldn't stop talking until I agreed to sign up for the book. And I'm sure that's the same for many of you here. But this is part of an incredible couple of weeks. I picked February 28th for a very particular reason. It's the last day of the month of February, which is Black History Month. And the next day is Women's History Month. And there are people that are trying to get rid of both of those, which is pretty ironic because we have them because there's no mention of history of the contributions of those two groups. But anyway, hopefully this is not the last year that we see those. But I felt I have a foot, obviously, in each of those worlds. And it's very important for me. God put me here to get into good trouble, as John Lewis says. And so that's what I'm doing. So it means a lot to me that way, and I'll just point out I wore this today on purpose. I received an award Saturday from the American Basketball Association, and I thought, thank you. And what's interesting about that for me is I thought it was for a thing. Partnerships. I'm good at partnerships. I'm starting a campaign to provide business education for college athletes and their families. Or I thought it was a thing that I helped with the State Farm Stadium, getting that built. Or that I helped with creating Tempe Town Lake. Or these other things that I've done. What did I get up there? And they said, give it to me for promoting civility. Civility. So that's what I feel everybody in this room is doing. And I'm very glad to be part of this community because we're losing that. Civility is very important to stick with that. So I congratulate all of you. It is very meaningful for me because they were right. It is what I'm doing. So it's not the things, right? If you went out on the street here and asked somebody what abundance would, they would start talking about it's too much traffic, it's too much, it's negative, negative. It's about aggression. It's about negative things. We have to use the A for appreciation. So we have to switch to that. So all of you are doing that with your books and what you're writing, keep writing. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Trisha Livermore. I met Robert at, I think it was like an East Valley iNextpreneur networking event. And you know, I did my little spiel and he came up to me, he's like, oh my gosh, you would make a really great author in our upcoming book. And I was like, really? And it's, a psychic told me once that I'd be a published author. I was like, yeah, right, that's not gonna happen. And so when Robert talked to me about it, I was like, well, that's interesting. It's just a page, like, I think I can do that. And I'm happy to say I'm in 3 of the books, plus the journal, so that makes 4. I missed 2024. I was like, darn it, I missed it. And since then, I've had people reach out to me and ask me to write a chapter in a book, 2 different books. So I am now a best-selling author, plus the international piece in 6 books, just from that one first initial space. And I have to say, Robert, I really greatly appreciate the fact that every time I show up, you know my name, and you always point me out, like when I'm in the virtual meetings and things like that. I really, like, it's very heartfelt. Like, I really appreciate that, you know, I'm not always in a lot of all the meetings, but really, really grateful that you remembered me from the very first moment. And I've met so many people in iNextpreneur Network that has really been beautiful, very heart-centered, which is where my heart is as well. So I'm super grateful for being here and being a part of this. Thank you.
Okay, I'm shy, so I'm going to be still. All right, well, usually I start off this by praising Robert and, you know, all the things he did for me, but I'm remiss. I have to praise more. I have 2 darlings in my life. I've been married 18 years to my wife, but my true darling in my life is Craig Darling. And the reason I say that because Craig was smart enough about 2 years ago in April, I think it's 2 years when we did the Holiday Inn event. It's been about 2 years, right? That he walked up to me and said, Mark, I want you to come hear me speak. All right, and he invited me to a private event at the Holiday Inn where Ginny was there and the whole network was there, and Natalie was there, and I didn't even know Natalie back then. But I said, Mark, you need to come out of this other group you're in and come visit INET. All right, come visit Network Together. And I did. All right, and I joined that day. All right, I absolutely joined that day. I signed up with Jenny. It took a little while to get the paperwork right, but they got it right. And from that day on, it was just amazing. Since Robert, I knew Robert. I kept going. First, I started going to Scottsdale. Then I started going to Chandler. I kept going and going. And then one day I was sitting in Scottsdale at Babos, and Robert wasn't really showing up that much because he was very busy with the Public Current book. And he asked me for my info. I was about to speak at this other event, and he said, Mark, he took my piece of paper and he wrote this thing down. He said, Mark, I'm going to, give you a gift. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And like I said, it took me 6 months to figure out what he's talking about. And finally I figured it out and told me, guess what? You're in a book. And I said, okay, what's that mean? And I still didn't understand it until later in February when he did the book signing at Angels. I still didn't understand what it was until Angel Space. And they said, oh, by the way, you're in a book. And I took that meme and that graphic they made me and I blew it up. And now, I own my own television network. I'm speaking at mentoring events. I'm Entrepreneur of the Year. I'm, a board member. Look at me, Ma. Look at me now, Ma. Top of the world. So, I thank this community. I met so many friends. I mean, Preston's been my white, what do we call it, elephant? No, white bull, something like that. I was told to meet with Preston over 2 years ago, and I did. My buddy, Denzel, he's my CEO. I couldn't have met him. I don't even know what to say. If you don't know how much I love this group by now, you're not paying attention, okay? Because I went to over 700 events last year with IONET, and they'll probably go to another 700 this year. I don't miss anything. I literally go everywhere. I even drove to Santan, and I've been in a funeral home, so, you got to be loyal if you go to funeral homes.
Oh my gosh. That's our chief selling point.
I'm sorry, but they're great people. Don't get me wrong, but it's in a funeral. So yes, so I love this community. I always say the wrong things, so it doesn't matter. But I always say the right things too, because for a fact, if you follow my social media, you know how much I'm happy with this community, how much I love this community. And yes, I could talk for hours, because when you find something you love, you can talk about it for days. When you find something you really love, you talk about it for your life. Exactly. And thank you very much for being part of this community.
Let's give a round of applause for everyone. Was that cool or what? We got to learn a few things. And so, I did want to say something about this book. There's a gal named Jana Short, and she had an international book competition, collaborative book competition. We were one of 25 books from around the world that competed in this collaborative book project. And we were awarded the #1 collaborative book in the world. And Jana Short, she is the owner of Best Holistic Life magazine, and she has, at this point, nearly 2 million subscribers in that magazine. We have another award, and she was going to be here today, but what I love about this community is we understand. And we understand that in our community, family is always first. So she's taking care of her son. He has a game. But we were nominated, and I don't know who nominated us, but her name is Nim Stant. Oh, nice. And Nim Stant has the International Impact Awards. And she said, Robert, you and your organization, Art of Connection, is the next recipient of the International Impact Awards for collaborative books. Yeah. And so she wanted me to tell you that. And so we're going to work on another gala and all come together and celebrate and shout and do whatever we want to do, because you know why? We're authors! All right. So,
Picture everybody.
Picture everyone?
No, everybody.
Like this way?
No, have everybody come up on stage. We have that in the background. Yes, and have everybody up with the book.
Well, do you guys want to do that? Are we down for that? Or do we want to do some book signing? What's that?
Let's take the picture first before everybody starts to go.
Yeah.
Group photo
Yeah,
first?
people
Photo
leave
first.
after.
So
Okay.
everybody, come
Group
on
photo
up.
first.
And you guys get